Do you like to work around the house?
I would say that I like working around the house. I don't mind doing my chores. I really want my living space to be well organized and clean. And I always like to fix something around the house. I would say that I like to be productive and I would like to improve my home any way I can.
Can you repair a car if it gets broken?
I would say that I can repair a car if it gets broken. Of course, this depends on the severity of the damage. I could repair the car if it's a simple malfunction, and it doesn't matter whether we are talking about some mechanical repairs or if some plugs need to be connected, if some electrical repairs need to be done. I can do it if it's simple enough. I would say that I can repair most of the damage or most of the malfunctions on my car as long as they are not too complex to fix.
When was the last time you fixed something?
The last time I fixed something was when I fixed my printer. It simply wasn't working the way it was supposed to work. I first tried to fix it by looking at the manual, and that actually did not help at all. So what I did is that I tried to remove the ink cartridges and then I placed them back in, and that actually seemed to work. My printer was working properly again.
Have you ever done any construction work?
Yes, I have done a lot of construction work in the past. I have worked on several construction sites, but most of the construction work I did on the home where I live right now. I did that construction work with my father. It was really fun to work with him, and I'm actually really happy right now when I get the chance to use any kind of tools, when I get to use a hammer or a screwdriver or a wrench or anything like that. Overall, I enjoy working with my hands quite a lot.
Have you ever used a screwdriver?
Sure, of course I have used a screwdriver before. I've used it quite often in the past. I've often used small ones, small screwdrivers, because my dad would take the big one and he would screw the big screws in. You will have 60 seconds to prepare, and then you will speak for between 60 to 120 seconds. Start speaking now. In my country, the material that is recycled the most is paper. I read somewhere that in my country about 80% of paper is recycled. And I think this is amazing. My country made a commitment that we will try to be as green as we possibly can. And I think the fact that we recycle such a high percentage of paper is a proof that we are actually serious. The recycling of paper is quite involved process. The majority of this paper is collected on the municipal level. I read that it's mostly the paper that people used every day. A small percentage of this paper comes from industries, and the people drop this paper in bags that have a special color, and they also have the opportunity to drop off the paper at designated places. And then this paper, I guess, gets taken to special factories where it gets recycled. And I guess the paper becomes cardboard boxes, notebooks, or anything else that we might need.
How important is it to recycle?
I would say that recycling is really important. Like I mentioned in part 2, it helps us reduce waste, and it's simply great for the environment. And also recycling helps us economically. Again, we don't have to use a lot of resources. We don't have to use a lot of minerals and a lot of biomass, such as wood.
Should recycling be made mandatory by law?
I would say that recycling should be made mandatory by law. I think that since recycling is very important in our modern world, everybody should do it. Everybody that can should do it. And I think the law would make people recycle. I think if there are some fines that people would think twice about not recycling a tin can or paper. So I think it's a good idea to make recycling mandatory by law.
Can you think of any downsides to recycling?
I would say that it's really hard to think of any downsides to recycling, but maybe it is expensive to collect and sort the material that is being recycled. For example, I know when I throw out some containers, I don't throw them out, to be precise. When I have to sort some containers, it contains both plastic and paper, and so I throw them out with plastic, and I guess that it is a little bit difficult to remove the plastic from paper, so this process could be expensive. Also, maybe it requires a lot of energy to recycle, and if we use a lot of energy, this could damage our environment because we could get this energy from fossil fuels. Also, when we recycle, maybe the products that we are getting, maybe these products are not as good as products made from non-recycled material.
Do you think that robots will collect our rubbish in the future?
Yes, I think robots will collect our rubbish in the future. I think that's already happening to a certain extent. I mean, we don't have robots, but we have what I would call cyborgs. Now, I use the word cyborg as a joke. What I mean by that is that the people that are collecting our rubbish are using certain machines that are helping them. So I think in the future we will not see, we will not see people using machines, but I think that this step of people using machines to collect our rubbish is just a intermediate step, and that the next step is robots doing it or machines collecting our waste for us without humans needing to do anything.
Do you think we will find a solution for the plastic waste?
I think that we absolutely will find a solution for the plastic waste. I say that because I already heard of some potential solutions. I even heard of bacteria being used for removing plastic waste, a bacteria that eats plastic.